Guys, we are going to start with a value exercise for the Typeface project. So you need to download the value exercise illustrator file from Moodle. And when you open it, it should look like this. You'll see on the full screen that it has already the gray value that I'm trying to get you to mimic with type and percentages, etc., as well as instructions. And so what I want you to do is I want you to go over here to the layers panel, and you'll notice that there's an instructions layer, and that just locks this content here. And then I want you to add a new layer, and you can just name it text. This just allows you to manage this a little bit better. So what you have is you have these 6 rectangles down here on the bottom. And what we're going to do is we're going to place text inside of these boxes in a way that mimics the value. So this is what it would look like when you are done. If you look at this, you'll see that I have text inside each of these. You can see that they are masked, so there's more text there than that is actually in the box. And you'll see that if you compare them to the values up above, that they have that value range. Okay, it's because the ultimate objective of this project is to create value by only using 100% black type. So you can do that by opening the leading like here, changing the line weight, so it might be bold or thin, making it caps, squeezing in the leading, etc. So how you're going to do this is that you're first going to find, you're going to choose what person or personality that you're going to use for the project. So I explained in the project brief the difference between a person and a personality is you might choose Leonardo DiCaprio and then choose an image of Leonardo DiCaprio, and you find a quote of his that he says and you attribute it to Leonardo DiCaprio. Or you can choose the character that Leonardo DiCaprio plays in The Great Gatsby, and so you're choosing an image of Leonardo DiCaprio depicting The Great Gatsby, and you're choosing a quote from The Great Gatsby, and you attribute it to him in The Great Gatsby. So that's kind of the difference there. I chose Maya Angelou, the poet and author, and so I just chose some text here that you can see. And what you're just going to have is just copy the text and what it says. You can choose, the text can be short or long, it doesn't matter for it. You can choose part of the text, etc. But it's basically the same text we're going to use over and over again. So I'm going to go over here to the blank version. So I am going to just paste the text here, and you'll notice that I have it as Avenir. And the reason I have Avenir in for this project right now is if you look and you look at Avenir, it has tons of versions of it. So these individual versions of the typeface are called fonts. And then Avenir is called the font family. So Avenir Next Condensed is a font family. Avenir Next, Avenir is a font family. So you could feasibly, because it's all Avenir, use any version of these under Avenir in your project. But you can't change the typeface family. You can't all of a sudden choose Times New Roman in one version, for example. So that's why I have Avenir for here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place the text, and you can change it around if you want. You can get rid of some spacing. It could be all one line of text. It doesn't matter for that. So I have this here, and you're like, okay, this is where you kind of want to start somewhere, and then you can add additional layers as you need to add to the value. So this is on the text layer, and then I'm going to go over here to the middle gray section, and I'm just going to start showing you how I can change the value by just changing the text. So I'm going to open up the character panel. I'm going to start to make the text bigger. I'm going to close the leading. Okay, you can also, if you want to, you can copy paste, or you can in the same text section like this, or you can actually copy paste and have them two separate ones like that. So you can see it's starting to look a little bit more gray than here. It's a little lighter here. You can even reduce the leading a little bit more. When you feel like you have it where it needs to be, you can actually choose the this rectangle as your template, and you just draw a rectangle over it. And if you remember how to create a clipping mask, you just have one object in the front, and then you hold down the shift key and you select the object in the background, and you can right click and choose make clipping mask, or command 7. That's also the option. And so you can still edit these, so you could double click inside and you can move these things around, but this allows you to crop the text as you need. So then again, you're trying to find these shades. So you're going to do this for each one. So I'm going to copy and paste this version over here just so I have that. I'm going to move this and do a clipping mask. All right, so I can do this one. And here's one that I can actually choose the same text here, and I might for this one change the weight. Maybe I'll try medium. That's a little bit too dark, so medium. And so you're starting to see where this is going. That one, you're like, oh, that's a little too dark, maybe that could go over here. So you're playing around with the values of it. So you can see where this is going. Maybe that is closer to that one. And you keep finding the middle ground to figure out when you can get the version you want. You can also change the scale here. You often can't really tell how good it looks until you actually crop it, because you're kind of distracted by the edges of it. Okay, so you kind of, see that, and you can play around. So you're going to do that for each one of these rectangles to add the value. So there should be a value range just like there is here. Okay, and you can see I made some in caps. This is actually upper and lower case, but the leading is highly reduced. It's 141/24, and it's medium, etc. And these are all caps, 61/24. So this is what you're going to do for the value exercise, and have that ready for when that is due. So that is how you're going to start this and finish this value exercise. And then in the next video, I'll show you how this is going to inform